Hi, I'm Birdime. Today we are reviewing the new James Wan movie, Malignant, which is not only in theaters but also for a limited time on HBO Max for free. And it's supposed to be this new horror movie, kind of taking a new take on the genre. And overall, it was actually pretty good. But let's go a bit more in depth for the movie and give it an overall score. The movie was definitely advertised to be this new, fresh take, but at some point it relied overly on some of the old tricks of horror movies, and sometimes the ways they were trying to build it as a new movie with these new camera angles, new perspectives, and stuff like that actually hurt the movie a little bit, as it felt like it was trying a little too hard to be different and wasn't focusing on doing different things that could improve the movie and actually fit with the movie. Like in the commercial, they do this overhead shot, kind of like from the ceiling perspective as she runs through each room, kind of like a mouse in a maze. And they only do it once in the entire movie, so some of the advertising points of why it's fresh did not actually come to light. But I will have to say it did take a fresh take, just not as fresh as I wanted it to be. Because I felt like, at least how I saw it was being advertised, I kind of expected a little bit more. It also relied on the old habits of horror movies at times, especially with loud music to add intensity to the scene, which is fine sometimes. But when you overly do it, it gets a bit annoying, and I feel like in the beginning half of this movie, they overused the music to build suspense when they didn't need to. Going back to the camera angle, they had so many pleasing shots to look at. It was a really well-produced, well-made movie. They also used more organic ways instead of just overly relying on CGI, though the CGI at one or two points did hurt the movie a bit. But it wasn't like bad CGI, it just felt a little unneeded because the rest of the movie is relying on camera angles, and then you just have the CGI, and it goes back to the point where it's not making it fresh. It's kind of like how they did with The Conjuring, where you feel like it's going to be this fresh movie, and then it hurts it just a little bit, not very much, just a little bit, to see one or 2 points they rely on these old habits. Especially, it feels like James Wan definitely likes the CGI in horror movies. And it's always at points where it does not feel like they even needed it. But I did enjoy that it overall felt like a very new and original horror movie. But it also did not feel like a horror movie at some points. It felt like James Wan masked two movies from different genres with the same plot together, which is another thing that just kind of hurts the movie a bit. The beginning part felt like a very average horror movie setup, and then the middle part of the movie felt more like an action movie from the mid-2000s, kind of like a Punisher or Ghost Rider type movie. And also at that part, it switched main characters, in my mind at least, to this male cop who I forgot the name of, who was overall a good character, and I'm glad he got added to the movie partway through, because he really helps the movie. I felt like the beginning part did not build the intensity right, and just kind of just felt like, oh, it's intense, because again, things like the music, it felt like they were more trying to tell you it was intense than actually letting you feel the intensity of the scene. And then the middle felt more action, and then by the end of it felt like they literally was doing both at the same time. Though the second half of the movie was enjoyable despite the mix of vibes of the movie, because the action was still pretty awesome. The spooky aspects of the movie was still pretty cool. I'm giving it about a 77, because despite the flaws of the plot, the vibes of the movie, and the kind of little bit of false advertising in the movie, it overall was fresh, new, and enjoyable. It wasn't great, but it was like okay in a C+ range movie. Overall, I would recommend the movie, especially if you kind of like multiple genres. But that is all for Birdime today. Hope you guys have a good night.